Hello everyone, welcome to the Friday morning edition of the Garden Update. It's a beautiful day, probably, 71 degrees outside. Not great for growing tomatoes, but great for yours truly to spend some time outdoors. Okay, over here in the west bed, the first cell remains empty. Next to that is our sun sugar cherry tomato. We've been picking several of these. They're indeterminate, so they're ripening sort of slowly, but they're fun and they're delicious. Here we have our what is it called? Blue Lake pole bean, which we were afraid would never bear any beans at all, but now there's three. There's a little guy back there. There's a bunch up there. Lots of flowers. Here in the back, a bunch more beans. So it's doing really well. I mean, look, there's just tons of them. We got to pick these pretty soon too. So it looks great. The Japanese beetles like this plant, so we got to pick them off every now and then, but it's probably too late for them to do much damage. This plant's already going to be successful. Okay, back around the front. Let's see, we've got scallions down in this plot. They're still very small. This is buttercrunch lettuce. They're coming along nicely, pretty small, but they're doing okay. This plot, looks like it's still empty. I think we're gonna plant some either chard or lettuce there. Those are in the basement getting started. Basil. We've harvested a lot from this, but it's still doing well. Parsnips. They're getting pretty big, but they're slow growers, so we'll see if we get anything. The oregano took off. It's doing fine. I've had to pull some of this out just so it doesn't spread. Carrots. We've pulled a few of these. As you can see, we've got some more that are about ready. You might think that looks a little pale, but these carrots are supposed to be like, some are white and some are orange and some are red. So that's just a white one. We have Swiss chard here with little debris. These, geez, they're not doing too well. You can see they're all sort of tipped over sideways. But, well, that one looks okay. Well, we'll see what happens. Carrots. We'll see if those are ready before the season's over, but at least they can take a frost. More carrots. Slightly older than the ones that I just showed you. These are, I think, chives. That's a weed. They're very small, but they're there. They're growing. This is broccoli. We had successful broccoli in the spring, so we're hoping we can get another one in the fall. Okay, in this corner is the cucumber plant. We've harvested a bunch of cucumbers from it, and they're still coming. As I mentioned, it's a parthenocarpic plant, which means it is like self-pollinating. So every flower becomes a cucumber. So I mean, it's really producing. It's a great plant. Harmony hybrid. Stephanie made some pickles with them. Those are really good. I mean, yeah, it's a real winner. Let's see, next to that is another tiny cucumber plant. You see way down there. It's being badly shaded. Who knows what will happen with that? Maybe when we get the tomatoes out and the other cucumber out, it'll have room to grow. This is our Brandywine beefsteak tomato plant. A big part of it broke, so it's a lot smaller than it was, but I did a bad job pruning it, which is why it broke. You can see we've got a few fruit. We don't have a ton of them, but what we do have are big, and check it out. Some of them are ripening. It's really exciting. We thought this might have blossom end rot. It does not. That's just like a blemish. So, geez, maybe next week we'll be able to have a nice Brandywine heirloom tomato. Oh, and then the plot on the end, those are scallions. They're also small. Okay, and then the next plot here, these are our Vermont cranberry dry shelling beans. Yesterday I posted a video of Stephanie taking some out of the shell. Here's what the shells look like before they dry out. You can see in the background there's quite a few of them. Oh, we picked all those ones underneath, but you know, it's still making quite a few beans. So well, here's a bunch of them. Hopefully we'll get a bunch more. Okay, the next cell, this is our original chive plot. Hardly has grown at all because of the shading, but oh well. Marigolds, very pretty. I like how they fill up that cell completely. Gotta love marigolds. Buried underneath of our Brandywine tomato, there's kale. This weekend I've got a nice dish in mind that I'll use most of the rest of that. Okay, this plot was lettuce, and we're gonna leave it empty until these beans are out of the way. This is chard. It looks like we need to trim some of the extra plants out here. We've got too many. We're only supposed to have 4 total. Scallions. We pulled a bunch of these. They turned out to be really nice. Great to have around. And you know, each one is like a bunch of them, like 2 or 3. So you can get like everything you need for like a garnish or a sauce or something just by pulling out, you know, one of these plants. Cilantro. I cut all of this out a week or 2 ago to make dinner, and it's grown back really nicely. So that's great. Great plant to have around. Cauliflower, still small, but this did not work out for us in the spring, so we're hoping to have better luck now in the fall. This is, oh geez, parsley. Yeah, I harvested all this too a week or 2 ago, and it's grown right back. So again, really nice to have. If a recipe calls for a tablespoon, boom. Kale, this is our young kale plant. You can tell that it's kale now, and it's coming along. I hope that we can harvest from this deep into the fall. Here's an empty plot. We'll put some lettuce or chard or something. Okay, those are the main beds. And now let's mosey over to the buckets. Okay, we've got catnip here. There's still a few leaves, but it really lost its vitality when it flowered. But look, it attracts these bugs, which is probably good. Marigolds, not doing as well as the ones in the bed, but still nice. Got some, this is basil, so is that. Probably should harvest some before it bolts. Thai chili pepper, which I need to water. Starting to get some buds on there that'll hopefully turn into flowers and hopefully turn into peppers. Jalapeno pepper plant has lots of peppers on it. I don't know, this one looks like it's got blossom end rot, which stinks, but if that keeps happening, we'll just harvest them while they're green. There's plenty on there, so we can sacrifice one and see what happens. But lots more flowers on here. It's been a pretty good plant. Nasturtiums, very pretty, as I've mentioned before, edible. Happy we grew this. Looks like it's sort of fizzling out here in the end, but whoops there. Here's our Roma tomato, the Saucy Lady hybrid. We've picked a couple tomatoes from this and cut off the rotten part because it has blossom end rot. And the tomatoes are just gorgeous. I mean, they're really beautiful tomatoes. So we'll get rid of that soil and try to find a different place to plant this next year. I hope things go better since it's such a nice plant. All right, that's that. Thanks for watching and have a great weekend.